John, morning. Thank you for joining us. John, how would you characterize the current market environment? If I look at the headlines which are coming from the EU region, there is a sense of confusion.
There's a sense of confusion in the EU. Exactly true. The issue in the EU right now is that, kind of like in the United States, in the last couple of years, there's really no understanding on the part of the markets and on the part of business what policymakers are going to do. And the situation in the EU is very much like in the United States. We have a currency that's a common currency across a whole lot of different states, and the different states have their own fiscal policies, and it's very, very difficult to maintain that common currency unless you have some kind of control, some kind of ability to transfer funds across the different fiscal entities. And in Europe, they have to find a way to do that.
John, how do you think the market is reading into more and more downgrades now trickling in, sometimes by S&P, sometimes by Moody's? You think all the negatives is already priced into the equities, or maybe not?
Again, it's very confusing. One of the situations you have in Europe is that the problem in the bond markets is with sovereign debt. It's not like what we had in the United States, where you had these housing bonds that went bad, or you had corporate bonds that went bad in the 1980s. This is sovereign debt, and sovereign debt really it's impossible really for a country to go bankrupt. It's very, very difficult, at least, for a country to go bankrupt. And at some point, there has to be some kind of bailout. There has to be some kind of renegotiation. There has to be some kind of central authority set up to handle this problem. Just nobody knows how that's going to happen. So money's flying around between different markets right now, with really no understanding of where to go.
So, John, which asset class to your mind has potential to outperform in next 3 months? U.S. bonds, commodities, or equities?
That's a really excellent question. I tell you, if I'm an economist, and if I could really forecast what's going to happen with asset classes, I wouldn't be doing economics anymore. I'd be doing something else. I think you have to. I advise people that ask me that you invest in the long term. Equities tend to do better in the long term. Right now, bonds look to be the safest place to be, but again, money is flying around so fast right now. There's so much volatility in all markets. It's very, very hard to predict. My money's in bonds. I don't know if I'm right though.